Mobile. Dear Gemini, perhaps you can already feel it. There is a connection moving closer into your life. An energy not meant to fill you, nor to change you, but to awaken a deeper version of yourself that you sometimes forget. People admire you for your intelligence, your quick wit, your ability to adapt in any situation. Yet when the doors close, when there's no one left for you to perform for, does anyone truly see your heart, the one that is sometimes quiet, fragile, and longing for real love? There are moments you ask yourself, if I don't try to smile, if I don't fire off clever words, if I stop playing the strong one, will anyone stay? Will anyone be brave enough to look deep and see a Gemini full of contradictions, yet genuine, tender, yet bursting with life? What's about to happen is not a random meeting. It is the universe's careful arrangement, guiding you toward a quantum leap in your life, a doorway that opens only when you are ready to lay down the mask and let your soul step fully into the light. And in that journey, you will realize that you don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to shine endlessly to be kept, because someone will arrive not to admire your social persona, but to truly see you, to see the pauses, the cracks, and the quiet tenderness inside your heart. This is the moment Gemini prepares to step into a new chapter. A chapter where you live authentically, love genuinely, and exist as yourself, without asking for permission. If you feel this message is meant for you, leave an affirmation in the comments. I'm ready as Gemini, so the universe knows you are prepared. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because the messages ahead will take you even further on this awakening journey. So now, pour yourself a cup of tea or your favorite coffee, sit down with me, and let's begin this conversation of two souls, a gentle exchange that may just change the way you see yourself. Part 1. The one who comes to break Gemini's mask. Dear Gemini, how long have you been living with a mask, one so familiar that even you sometimes forget it's there? A mask of wit, charm, and liveliness, always ready to become the sparkling center of every conversation. To others, you're the fresh breeze, the one who lightens the atmosphere, the one who brings laughter and ease wherever you go. But how many truly know that behind those bright smiles, behind the clever words, and the effortless way you make others comfortable, are the quiet sighs you let out when you're finally alone in the stillness of your room? Gemini, have you ever grown tired of pretending you're fine while storms swirl inside you? Have you ever wondered if one day you stopped smiling, stopped being quick on your feet, who would stay? For so long, you've built a social version of yourself, a likable, adaptable persona that makes sure you're never left behind. Yet deep down, there are empty spaces no one has ever touched, wounds you've never spoken of, and a silent longing that whispers, I wish someone could truly see me, even when I'm not dazzling. And then, someone will arrive not to make you perfect, not to fill the gaps you think you carry, but to do one simple thing, to shatter the mask you've worn for far too long. They won't be drawn only to your cheerfulness or your quick mind. Instead, they'll look straight into the silences you hide, into the corners of your heart that ache but never speak. This person won't run when they see your fragility, nor will they judge you when you're no longer the entertainer. On the contrary, it's that very fragility that will make them stay, want to cherish you, and prove to you that you deserve love, not for the laughter you bring, not for the mask that keeps everything smooth, but simply because you are you, with all your sweetness, your complexity, and even the cracks you've tried so hard to hide. In that moment, you'll realize you can be both fragile and strong. You can be vulnerable and still captivating. You can long for protection and still inspire others. Most of all, you'll discover You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to be the fun Gemini to earn love. You just need to be yourself. And there will be someone who chooses to stay. This may surprise you, even unsettle you. After all, you've spent years adapting, pleasing, and playing roles to make sure you're not left behind. But the arrival of this person will be like a knock from the universe. It's a reminder that it's time to set the mask down, to breathe deeper, to live more truthfully. It's time to admit you too deserve to be tired, to be quiet, to be loved, even when you're not the brightest one in the room. They will act as a mirror, reflecting the parts you've hidden away, the weaknesses you thought no one could accept. Yet in that reflection, you'll see a different Gemini, a truer Gemini who knows their worth, doesn't lie in pleasing others, but in daring to be authentic. And once you see that, you'll never want to wear the mask again. Gemini, imagine what it feels like to have someone look you in the eyes and say, "I see you," not the version you perform, but the real you. That moment will melt every wall, and you'll realize you've finally found a safe place to set your burdens down. They won't change you, but they'll open the door for you to step out of the old script, so you can live more fully than ever before. This is the beginning of a turning point, a quantum leap the universe has long prepared. Because when you remove the mask, you don't just find yourself, you create space for real connections, for love, for freedom to flood into your life. If right now you feel it's time to be truly seen, leave an affirmation in the comments. I'm ready as Gemini. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the universe still has many more messages ahead. Messages that will guide you deeper into this journey. Part 2. The Quantum Mirror and the Awakening. Dear Gemini, imagine this. A mirror that doesn't just reflect your outer appearance, but every version within you, the person you once were, the one you are now, and even the one you could become in the future. This person is that mirror. They enter your life not to judge you, not to tell you how to live, but to reflect you back to yourself, with all your light and shadows, with all your flexibility and intelligence, but also your vulnerability and your quiet desires. Until now, you've grown used to being the quick-witted one, the one who cleverly escapes awkward situations, the one who always knows how to comfort or entertain others. But when you stand before this person, all those skills you once relied on to feel safe suddenly become unnecessary. In their presence, you don't have to impress, you don't have to push yourself to prove your worth, because they don't care about the mask. Instead, they see your soul, the part of you you've hidden away for so long. And that's the moment of a true switch in your consciousness. From living to impress, to learning to live in order to truly connect, you no longer chase admiration. You no longer seek validation through clever stories or outward achievements. Instead, you begin to find your worth in being seen and accepted exactly as you are. It feels like switching off all the blinding spotlights so that the gentle light from within you can finally shine. This person is like a switch the universe has sent to you. They touch the deepest layers of your being, making you pause and ask, "How long have I been living like an actor on stage? How long have I forgotten what it feels like to just be myself?" In their reflection, you don't just see the witty, lively Gemini. You also see the Gemini who has felt lonely, misunderstood, and who has long suppressed the longing to be loved unconditionally. And the miracle is this. When you dare to look at all those versions, you realize they are all you. You don't have to choose only the strong side or only the soft side. You can be both light and shadow. You can be vibrant and quiet. You can shine in the world while still being tender in your private moments. This mirror doesn't come to divide you, but to remind you that you are most whole when you embrace every part of yourself. That is the awakening. When you finally see that your value doesn't come from the role you play for others, but from the truth of daring to live as yourself. And once you touch that truth, you'll never again feel satisfied with shallow connections. You'll crave authenticity, depth, and relationships where you don't have to hide anything. Gemini, think back. Have you ever met someone who made it impossible for you to pretend? Someone before whom you simply had to be real, down to every breath? That is the kind of energy the universe is preparing to bring into your life. And once you are awakened by this mirror, you'll step onto a new path, the path of authenticity, where real connection replaces performance. If you've ever experienced a moment when someone made you live your truth, share it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, so that this energy can spread to more Geminis, because your story may just be the guiding light for another soul who needs to hear this. Part 3. Signs appear based on Gemini birth groups. Dear Gemini, the universe never acts at random. Every Gemini soul, born within a specific time frame, carries its own energy, its own challenges, and its own doorway into awakening. That's why this special person, the quantum mirror, who will reflect your true self, will also arrive through different paths depending on your birth group. This isn't coincidence, it's the universe's perfect arrangement, making sure each Gemini meets their destined moment exactly when they're ready. Gemini born May 21. May 26. If you belong to this group, this person will enter your life through your work or an intellectual project. It could be a colleague staying up late brainstorming ideas with you, a collaborator you connect with on a creative journey, or even someone you meet on a small project that later changes your entire direction. You're used to expressing yourself through intelligence, quick thinking, and adaptability, but their presence will make you realize a deeper truth. Your value doesn't only lie in what you know or achieve, it shines through when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and authentic. They will show you that intellect and heart can coexist, and that you don't need to rely solely on your mind to prove your worth. Gemini born May 27, June 10. This group carries strong social energy. You're often well-liked, easily the center of attention, the one who makes gatherings lively. But this special person won't be drawn to that. They will appear in a familiar social setting, or even in an unexpected moment that takes you by surprise. They won't come to applaud you. They'll challenge the old beliefs you've held about love and freedom. Perhaps you've thought love means sacrifice, or that relationships take away your independence. But they will prove the opposite. True love doesn't limit you, it frees you. With them, you'll discover that you can be fully yourself and love deeply at the same time, without fear of being tied down or losing your identity. Gemini born June 11, June 20. For late-season Geminis, this journey opens through knowledge, philosophy, or travel. You may meet this person in a class, a seminar, a book that leads you into a new community, or even on a trip where you encounter a kindred spirit. They won't just be a companion, they'll be a doorway into a higher level of awareness. They'll stir questions like, how long have I lived within familiar boundaries, without stepping out to touch the deeper parts of myself? And through them, you'll begin to see life through a wider, more multidimensional lens. This connection awakens your desire to live real, to love real, and to show up fully, not just chasing fleeting excitement. Dear Gemini, no matter which group you belong to, the universe has already written a path for you. Each group has its own doorway, but all lead to the same point. A quantum leap, where you shed your mask and step into your truth. You may not have met this person yet, but trust that the universe will bring them when you're ready. Sometimes it happens when you're exhausted by shallow connections. Sometimes when you suddenly feel lonely in a crowd. And sometimes it's when you finally admit that you long for something real. And do you know? The very moment you acknowledge this is when you begin calling them closer. They may not arrive with fireworks or obvious miracles, but they'll appear in your life naturally, and one day you'll just know, it's them. Gemini. Now I want to ask you, which Gemini group are you in? Share your birth date in the comments, so I'll know where you are in this journey, and so other Geminis can find resonance too. And don't forget to subscribe, because many more messages from the universe are waiting to guide you deeper into your awakening journey. Part 4. Inner Struggle and the Defining Moment. Dear Gemini, deep within you there have always been two opposing currents of energy. One longs desperately to be seen, to be truly understood without you having to put on a show. The other trembles in fear that if you reveal your vulnerability, someone might take advantage of you or walk away. This duality has exhausted you time and time again, as if you were split in two, one half wanting to soar higher, the other half wanting to hide away. This special person doesn't enter your life when you are at your brightest or standing tall on your peak. They arrive when you are at your emotional low, when you're tired of shallow connections, when you're frustrated with relationships that bring no nourishment to your soul, when you're about to tell yourself, I'm done hoping, I'll just close every door. And at that very moment, they appear a divine intervention from the universe. What unsettles you most is that they ask nothing of you. They don't need you to be entertaining. They don't demand proof of your worth through witty words or constant effort. They simply show up authentic and calm. And that calm presence is the very key that shakes the walls you've built for so long. In their gaze, you cannot keep hiding. You begin to ask yourself, why have I worked so hard to be accepted when I could simply be loved for being me? That question echoes in you like a ringing bell of awakening. For so long, you've lived as an actor on stage, so skilled that the audience always applauded. Yet when the curtain fell, all you had left was an empty space inside. You thought applause was love, but it was only temporary recognition. And with a heart that yearns for true love, you've realized that will never be enough. This is the turning point. You now stand before two clear choices. 1. To keep living inside the familiar shell, safe, easy, but painfully empty. 2. To bravely take off the mask, fling open the doors of your heart, and allow yourself to live authentically. The first path feels comfortable, but it's a trap that keeps you stuck in loneliness. The second path is terrifying, because it demands that you face your fear of being hurt. Yet it's the only path that leads you to freedom. Gemini, remember this. The universe never sends you a challenge you're not strong enough to overcome. This person hasn't come to destroy you, but to reveal the invisible chains you've locked yourself in for too long. They are here to remind you that truth never weakens you. It gifts you a new kind of power. When you choose to remove the mask, you don't lose strength. You trade false power for the real strength of your soul. This moment is like a crossroads of destiny. One road leads to the world of illusions, where you keep living to please others. The other leads to the world of truth, where you dare to show every crack, every light, and every shadow within you. The universe won't force you to choose, but this person's presence makes it clear. The time has come. You can't keep standing in the middle, wanting to be seen yet fearing exposure. You must lean fully one way. Either retreat back into your shell or step into freedom. And Gemini, in truth, there is only one real choice. Your soul wasn't born to keep hiding. You were born to be seen, to be loved, to shine in the most authentic way possible. You may tremble when you take off the mask, but that trembling is the clearest sign that, for the first time, you're truly alive. If you feel the time has come to take off the mask, comment below, "I choose truth," and subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Let the universe know that you are ready to step through the doorway of your destiny. For the inner revolution, Gemini's redefined life. Dear Gemini, this is the turning point the universe has been preparing you for, an inner revolution, quiet yet powerful enough to transform how you live and how you love. For so long you've lived in the cycle of seeking recognition, always shining in crowds, witty and quick, always knowing how to keep your image captivating. Yet after those dazzling moments, when you're left alone, hasn't your heart whispered, "What do I truly want? Am I really living for myself?" The special person the universe sends isn't here for you to keep performing. They are here to help you remove the mask. They remind you, you no longer need to live for recognition. It's time to live for connection. And this connection doesn't come from blinding light that impresses everyone, but from a steady, gentle flame that warms hearts. When you shift from having to shine to choosing to warm, you'll realize your true value. Not something to prove or compete for, but something that naturally makes others want to stay by your side. In career and leadership, this shift is just as profound. Before, you led with intellect, sharpness, and answers that impressed. Now, you begin to lead with authenticity. When you dare to say, "I've been weak too." When you share real experiences, instead of perfect responses, you become more trustworthy than ever. People follow you not just because you're smart, but because you're real. And that truth becomes your most enduring strength. In love, the revolution is even clearer. In the past, perhaps you loved to be admired, to be seen as fascinating, talented, desirable, but that was still another stage performance. Now, you learn that love is not admiration, but soul connection. When you stop trying to impress, you create space for two hearts to truly meet. And in that meeting, you discover what it means to be truly loved. Not for perfection, but for authenticity. Gemini, this is your quantum leap, the soul's great shift. From living to please outside eyes, you move into living to nurture your inner light. And the miracle is this: when you live from the soul, that light spreads effortlessly, touching those who need it without you trying. As this revolution unfolds, your entire world transforms. Work no longer feels heavy with the burden of proving yourself, but becomes joy born from authenticity. Shallow connections fade, replaced by those who truly want to walk beside you. And most importantly, you no longer fear being abandoned for being yourself, because you've experienced being loved, even in your vulnerability. Gemini, the universe now asks you, will you keep living the old performance, or are you ready to step onto the soul's path, where you are seen, loved, and free to be yourself? If your heart is stirring, leave a comment declaring, "I'm ready to be seen." Let it be your soul's proclamation to the universe that you are ready for this inner revolution. And don't forget to subscribe, because many more messages are waiting ahead to guide your path. From today on, Gemini, you are no longer just the interesting one in the eyes of the world. You are you, authentic, free, radiant, and that is the version the universe has been waiting for all along. Dear Gemini, after walking through this entire journey, you must have realized something important. Life is no longer a stage for you to perform, but a path for you to truly connect. That special person, the quantum mirror, is only a catalyst to remind you that you don't need to shine constantly to be loved. You only need to radiate warmth from within. The greatest lesson you can carry with you is this: live authentically, dare to be vulnerable, and allow yourself to be fully present with everything you are. When you stop chasing recognition, you will find true connection. When you lead with sincerity, you will create an influence more lasting than any intellect. And when you love, not to be admired, but to truly connect, you will experience a love more complete and profound than ever before. This is not only an astrological message, but also a compass for your everyday life. Walk as a brave Gemini, choosing truth over illusion. Now, I want to invite you to take action. Leave a comment below with the affirmation, "I'm ready to be seen," so the universe knows you are ready for your own quantum leap. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming messages. Because this journey has only just begun, and there is still so much value waiting for you. Gemini, remember this: you were not born to perform, but to live authentically. See you in the next video, where we will continue to walk together on this magical path of awakening.